Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 74 of the 72 review. I'm going to have to pass over my apologies for my voice this week. I've burned the candle at both ends, so I'm struggling a little bit, but it's just myself and Ian today. So, Ian, introduce yourself, let people know who you are, what you do, and why you do it, mate.
Hello, I'm Ian. I'm a 62-year-old Rotherham United season ticket holder. I know I'm wearing a Lincoln shirt, but I just like football shirts. And when the Millers are away, I'm not daft enough to follow them for defeat after defeat. So I'm travelling around the EFL vlogging for my YouTube channel, which is @iBradders or Old Man Ground Hopping, @Old Man Ground Hopping, whichever. It'll still get you through. I've got. Shall I tell them about the poll now, Dan? Or
go for it, mate. It's all yours.
Absolutely right. I wanted you guys to tell me where to go next Saturday. There's a choice of three. They're all in League Two. Either Bradford City against Carlisle, Notts County against Accrington Stanley, or Doncaster Rovers against Gillingham. Whichever you think, and I'll go. They're all within pretty easy distance to me, so it's not a problem which one I take. But if you do vote, I want you to see the vlog when I've done it. Okay then, Dan?
Yeah. So Bradford versus Carlisle, 1 second. Bradford versus Carlisle.
Yeah. Notts County against Accrington. Or Rovers against Gillingham.
Notts County versus Accrington. Right. I think I've done that right this time. There's a poll going. We will see if that's working or not. I'm sure I've done one before and made a mess of it, but we'll see. Have a look. There may be a poll. Get voting so Ian knows where to go next week. I think for my vote, it would be Donny versus Gillingham, mate, but I vote on my own poll.
Leave it running for a day or so if it's on the Twitter page, and then I can, I've got plenty of time for trains and match tickets, etc.
Right, we will see how that goes. Okay, so if you're new to this show, what myself and Ian are going to do, we're just going to have a look through this weekend's EFL action across all three divisions. We'll hop back to last weekend as well because we ended up missing last Sunday, and we'll talk about our club's fixtures from last weekend as well. Get your chats in, get your comments in. It does drive conversation, and I think Jake will be joining us. So we're going to start in League Two, go to League One, and then Championship, which gives Jake a bit of time to jump on. So before we get started, we will have a quick look through some of the chats. We've got John, sadly, going to miss this one, but there's a notification bell for when Wrexham gets welcome to League One. Cheers to you lot. Up the sheep shagging down. Doing very, very well in League One. We will talk about Wrexham shortly. Lucy's asked who will get promoted to League One. It's too early to tell at the minute. We did our predictions.
4 games in, aren't we?
Yeah, I think the table will start to steady out in a couple of games, maybe 10 games or so. We've got Lewis, good evening. We've got Burton as well, good evening. We've got Lizzie, evening, gents. We've got Finley as well. Good evening, Finley. Got a YouTube channel as well.
I saw your video against the Millwall Wednesday game. It was fantastic. I hope you had a good day out in London.
No one has a good day out in London. We've got John, evening all. Sheffield lads missing, wonder why. In fairness, it's Lee's anniversary, so he has got a valid excuse, and Jake was putting the kids to bed. So hopefully he will be with us shortly. We've got Up the Stags as well. Nathan saying just give Rovers the title now, going to win the league easily. There's a long, long way to go. ATID said
confidence there.
Yeah, ATID 45 games to go. So happy it's the international break.
Yeah.
And then we've got Mark saying good evening as well. Good evening. Okay. A bit of sad news as well before we do get into the EFL action. We've had a couple of sad passings this week within football. You've probably all heard of them or heard about them this week. Sven-Göran Eriksson sadly passing away last week. It was around this time last week, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was Sunday or Monday last week, but it's very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did take charge of England's golden generation, but it just didn't quite work for him. It was he seemed like a really nice guy, and all the players that played for him have got nothing but praise for him. He did very well in club management as well, so it's a sad passing, really.
It is indeed. And then this morning or last night, it was Sol Bamba who sadly passed away and lost his fight to cancer by the sounds of things from what I've read and what I've heard. So it's another sad passing, and I think cancer. Yeah. If you followed this channel or this show for a while, you'll know that myself and Lee do a lot of fundraising for it. So it's something that is close to our hearts, and it's another player gone way too soon, isn't it?
39-year-old, it's no age, is it really?
No.
And my commiserations to all Cardiff, Leeds, and Middlesbrough fans that remember him as a committed player for them.
Yeah. So some sad news. Punk's in the chat, struggling to get in, lads. With my kids at the moment. Don't worry about it. We're starting in League 2, moving to League 1. If you come in half an hour or so, we'll be on to the Championship then. So
I always think that chloroform works.
I don't think that's a recommended way to get kids to sleep, though.
Possibly not.
Okay, last weekend's fixture, Doncaster against Morecambe. It's the one home game that I've been able to make this season so far. I'm missing the Gillingham game because I'm otherwise engaged once again. So 2 out of his first 3 home games I've missed, and this one, not much to shout home about, to be honest. It's a 1-0 win. It's 3 points, but it was relatively uneventful. We lacked any sort of free-flowing football that I was expecting to see after the 4-1 win against Accrington. But I think Morecambe just made it really difficult for us, put men behind the ball, and we just needed to be a bit quicker, a bit swifter, moving the ball about and unlocking them, really, because they were well drilled, well organised, but offered very little going forward, and it's shown this weekend. They got beat again 1-0. They're yet to score.
They've lost all 4 league games 1-0.
Yeah, and it's mistakes as well, which are costing them goals. I mean, the goal that Harry Clifton scored, it was from them trying to play out at the back. He's managed to just chase it down and block the shot, block the clearance, the keeper's clearance, and it's ended up in the back of the net. So, and there was a similar mistake this weekend, which has cost them a goal. So, I think Morecambe are looking relatively stable defensively, like they're not conceding too many, but they're offering very little going forward, which is a concern for them. I think we had them quite low in the table in our predictions. So I do worry for them. But this one, it was one of those games for me where nothing really to write home about, but it's 3 points on the board. And sometimes when you have a good season, games like this, you'll look back and think we could have drawn that and probably missed out on automatics or playoffs or whatever it'll be come the end. So a good 3 points, and it was, for me, I wanted 3 points against Morecambe, 3 points against Port Vale, and a performance against Everton midweek. And this week has pretty much delivered exactly that. We had a really good performance midweek against Everton. Unfortunately, fell to a 3-0 defeat, but I don't think it was a 3-0 game. I think if we'd have scored one, we'd have probably turned it around. I do believe that they'd have probably got a little bit shaky, a little bit nervous, but a pretty professional display from Everton on Tuesday. But that takes us on to this weekend. Let me get the fixture.
Can I just put in here about one last Saturday? I attended Chesterfield against Salford.
You did. Go for it, mate. It gives my voice a rest.
Okay. Yeah, I think Chesterfield would be very disappointed to only draw this because they were dominant more or less throughout. Salford defended quite well, but in Dobra and Bury, they've got Chesterfield have got 2 really good attacking midfielders, I suppose they are, and they were knocking on the door the first half, although the first half wasn't really that much of a watch. But in the second half, Berry got free, left-hand side of the area, curled one round the keeper, 1-0, 20 minutes to go. And I thought to myself, well, that's it. I mean, they've done enough. But unfortunately, especially, sorry, I forgot one bit, especially after ex-Miller Curtis Tilt got sent off straight from the kickoff from the goal. He shoved one of the Chesterfield players out of the way from the kickoff and got a straight red for it.
Did it?
So Salford were 1-0 down and 10 men in 30 seconds. So everybody were thinking it's going to be a home win, and they were wrong. Salford brought one of their subs on, and scored a wonderful goal. It was very similar to Berry's goal, but he just wound his way past a few tackles and curled one into the corner and got Salford a point, which I think Carl Robinson will be thankful for, and probably undeserved. But a draw it were. But Chesterfield have impressed me. I did, like I said, on the opening day, I did see Bromley, and I wanted to see the other newbies. And I think both Bromley and Chesterfield will be fine in this division.
Yeah, I think they'll hold their own, won't they?
Yeah, at least hold their own. I mean, Chesney could be a playoff spot, could be playoff challengers. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. So results from last weekend are ticking across the bottom of the screen. We'll jump to yesterday's fixture. Travelled to Port Vale. Darren Moore wanting to get one over on his old team and didn't quite manage it. I thought it was an entertaining fixture. I ended up watching this one on Sky. I thought the ball through from Billy Sharp for the opener was fantastic. With his back towards goal, he's managed to kind of thread it over the top with a first-time pass, and Luke Molyneux has just managed to kind of cushion it, and it's created a really good angle for him just to fire the ball home. Absolute rocket in front of the sellout. Well, we got allocated quite a small section of the away end, and we sold it out. But yeah, it was nice to see so many travelling fans there, and everyone very happy that Molyneux's early season form is continuing. So great finish. But then Port Vale started to get a bit of a foothold in the game in the first half, and a decent, neat bit of football just outside of the box ended up feeding Ryan Crosdale in. I thought Tom Anderson was probably drawn towards the ball a little bit too easily, and he had a man who he could have passed on to Jay McGrath, which had then allowed him to drop off to prevent that through ball. But it's easy to say when you've watched a replay and seen it in slow motion and stuff. But yeah, really good finish from Crosdale when he did finally get the ball sent through to him. And at that point, I was thinking, oh, here we go again. We've allowed them to grow into the game, and it could turn around. But seconds into the second half, Billy Sharp gets an opportunity, a really good play down the left-hand side from Gibson. Played it across. I think it was Bailey. Kind of stepped over it, dummied it in the box. It's come to Billy Sharp, and you're thinking, hit it first time. Billy Sharp scores these goals in his sleep, and the keeper pulled off a really good save. And fortunately for us, it's fallen to Luke Molyneux. He's squared it, and Sharp, rather than having his hands on his head and like ruin that missed chance, is a fox in the box, isn't he? We're just ready for a second opportunity, second bite at the cherry, and he gobbled it up. And 2-1 Donny just after half time, and then a lovely through ball. I believe it was Gibson who played the through ball to Luke Molyneux on 58 minutes, and the defender, I can't remember his name, was trying to catch him and ended up pulling his hamstring, and it just left Molyneux free to finish with his right foot, which is something that's not seen too often. And we were cruising, and it was looking like it was just going to kind of peter out to a 3-1 win. And typical Donny fashion, we made it nervy for the last couple of minutes. It was, I believe we should have had a penalty ourselves. I think there was a clumsy challenge on Yeboah, which wasn't given, and then an equally as clumsy challenge on Oh, what's his name? I will find it. It came on Stockley. Yeah, Tom Anderson pulling Stockley. I think the ball was over him anyway. Didn't need to do it. Stockley's hit the ground and the referees give the penalty. And Chislett put it away, a really good penalty into the keeper's top left-hand corner. And like I say, it just made the last couple of minutes a little bit nervy, especially when I think 8 was put on for added time. So yeah, not done the easy way, but another 3 points. Nice to beat a Darren Moore team after he left us for Sheffield Wednesday as well. So a really good week for Donny, in my opinion. Like I say, 2 wins in the league, a decent performance against Everton midweek where we weren't made fools of, and hopefully we can take that into Huddersfield in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy on Tuesday, but more importantly Gillingham, where it's a top end of the table clash early on Saturday. So yeah, it's looking all right, and I think the partnership that Sharp and Molyneux are starting to build is only positive for us Donny fans to be watching. Easy as that. And while I've been talking, loads of chats have come in. Let's have a quick look through them before we move on. Neil said that Grigg ran straight into tilt. Very clever play by Grigg indeed. It's top shithousery. So I think that was from the Chesterfield Salford game.
Yeah. There is a point. Yeah, could be, but he did. He went like that, out of the way, made the referee's mind up for him.
Dale Pickett has said you need to see old man McGoldrick's 2 goals at Swindon yesterday.
Some 2 great finishes. Yeah, 2 absolutely great finishes by Didsey. I mean, he's been there, done that, and bought the T-shirt, hasn't he? Really. I mean, it's a much higher level than League 2, and it shows. I think is he 30, 36, 37 now? I know he's getting on for that sort of age. He's old, yeah. But I think Paul Wall wanted to keep him at Derby, but I think he's got strong connections with Notts, and I think that's what swung it. He had a good season last season for Notts, tailed off a bit towards the end, but yeah, that's a pretty good result that at Swindon, because I really rated Swindon's chances this season. And it's very early days, but that's a cracking win for Notts. That. And it
you'd be looking at this as a Swindon fan.
4-1 win up against Grimsby up well.
Yeah. You'd be looking at this as a Swindon fan, kind of spitting feathers a little bit, though, wouldn't you? You've had plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, you would.
2 worldy goals that have decided a game, and 3 shots on target, and like you said, 2 of them are absolute ridiculous strikes by a top class player at this level.
Oh yeah. Good result. Very good result.
Any other results jump out for you yesterday, Ian?
Well, if there's Grimsby beating unbeaten Bradford, because Bradford have been going on pretty well, and Grimsby, who were one of my tips to drop this season into the National League, have 2 wins out of 4.
Yeah,
pretty decent to start for them, really. 6 points from 4 games. Can't argue with that. David Artell's doing a decent job. And I saw the highlights on the Football League show last night, and it looks like Grimsby took the goals well.
Yeah.
Probably Bradford shaded it, but it's goals that win games. So yeah, very good result for Grimsby. That it's probably just a blip for Bradford, because up to yesterday they've been doing really well. So
I think they ended up losing on penalties to Grimsby earlier in the month, didn't they, as well?
Yeah, I think Bradford would take 7 points from the first 4 games as a decent start. So yeah,
I'd agree with that. Another one that kind of jumped out to me yesterday was the Carlisle game, mainly because this kind of spelled the end of the road. And I was quite surprised to see him get sacked. I don't know if you're in the same mind frame, Ian. I think
because they kept him on after they got relegated last season, didn't they? So they kept Simpson in charge. Yeah. So with 4 games in, getting rid of him, It is a bit of a surprise. I mean, if
And
you look at the stats, it looks like Carlisle have most of the play. And
yeah,
Amari Patrick, who played for Carlisle last season, scored both goals for Tranmere. That must
yeah,
have been a real knife to the heart. He didn't celebrate either one, so I'll give him credit for that.
no, his second one were decent as well.
Oh
To be
yeah,
fair,
well,
both
good strike.
goals were all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's a really strange kind of decision to make. Like I said, they kept Simpson on after being relegated last season, so they must have thought that they had something in him to return them back to League One. And I just think maybe it's firing too early, maybe on this one.
To
A
be
couple of
honest
games
with you,
just to
I
kind
mean,
of get used to
I
League Two
do
football
feel
again.
sorry for managers that are jettisoned after less than 10 games. I think there should be something in place that gives a manager at least 10 games at the start of the season protected, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah,
Because 4 games in, it's far too early.
yeah,
Really.
yeah,
I mean, I mean, I know football fans are passionate and they'll probably be shouting for the manager's head after a couple of defeats. But no, I think that is just sort of like a knee-jerk reaction.
yeah. Neil said that he didn't want them doing that before the playoffs at Valley Parade on Saturday, just hoping that the interim or new manager doesn't get the new manager bounce. Yeah, that's. I think that's the thing, isn't it? Teams think a new manager or an interim will get that new bounce and potentially flip the current form on its head. But yeah, I think they should have stuck with him for a little bit longer, to be honest.
Yeah.
Is there any other games that you wanted to touch on in League Two, mate, or are you happy to move to League One?
Well, what I am surprised about, and I think the one team that I am surprised about is Walsall's start, because I didn't have Walsall anywhere near the top of the table, and yet they've got 9 points from 4 games. I mean, three wins and just 1 defeat, and also they turned a 2-goal deficit round against Huddersfield in the Carabao Cup to win 3-2. I mean, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Walsall, if they get on a roll, I mean, 23 shots. Wow.
It's incredible.
It is. I mean, probably Cheltenham are grateful they only got away with a 2-1 defeat. But that's impressive.
Yeah, it's nice to see George Miller on the score sheet for Cheltenham as well.
Yeah, he is. After all his problems, yeah.
We've got Owen in the chat. Everyone had us down. Look at us now. So I think before we move on to League One, I think we do need to look at Newport. We mentioned Morecambe earlier in the video when we were talking about the 1-0 defeat at Doncaster. Another 1-0 defeat.
Wasn't Aaron Wildig a former Morecambe player? I'm sure he were.
Not sure.
Now that's efficiency. One shot on target and it ends up being winning goal.
Yeah, and it came from Morecambe trying to play out from the back, and keepers just kind of tried to clear it. And I think it might have been Wildig who's managed to get hold of it and just finish it. Owen said former Morecambe captain was Wildig.
I thought so.
So
yeah, that's dead impressive. That 9 points from 4 games. Yeah, can you keep it going then? Yeah. Although it's not I'm going to say it's not the best. It's Rodney Parade's quite a difficult place to go. If you know what I mean. I mean they do.
We do know what you mean.
Get on top of you there. Yeah. And they do get behind the team, so more power to Newport. Yeah, they're doing really well.
And I think for me in my preview, I don't know if I said the same in the 72 review preview. I think Newport were a bit of a unknown entity this season with the Portuguese manager. I forgot what his name is.
Yeah, and also losing the top scorer Evans.
Nelson Jardine. Yeah. Just a bit of an unknown entity in terms of kind of how they were going to set up and how they were going to play and if it'd work, and obviously it is. So I think that was probably one of the teams where it's going to hit a lot of people on their predictions, I think.
Oh yeah, we'll probably get a few points a few points for Morecambe's league position at the Newport's league position at the end of the season.
Yes, we will indeed. Table, it doesn't really make a difference, does it, until you're around 10 games in? But at the minute, Gillingham lead the way with 10 points, and then there's how many? 5 teams on 9 points: Walsall, Barrow, Newport, Doncaster, and Wimbledon. And then Notts County.
Wimbledon have made a damn good start as well, haven't
they have. Notts County and Tranmere both on 8. Bradford just outside of the playoffs on 7. Bromley doing really well in 10th. Chesterfield in 12th as well. But then we go down to the bottom. Morecambe yet to get off the mark. 4 defeats in 4. Swindon, Accrington, and Salford make up the bottom. There's only 2. Sorry, Swindon make up the bottom 2. Salford get Adelaide at the transfer deadline day, so that was a surprising.
That was a hell of a surprise. That
was indeed. So that is League 2 done and dusted. Let's move on to League 1. Let's sort the banner out. I'm seeing a couple of League 1 fans in the chat, so we will get through some of those comments as we're going. But we will start with, who did you play last week?
Wycombe.
You're not on there. Let's find it.
There you go. He's out with you.
There you go. Talk us through this one.
I was otherwise engaged at Chesterfield watching that game, but we got done. We couldn't defend. I mean, the stats put it at a very evenish game. We're getting shots off, but we get no real. Well, there were probably 2, I would say, were gilt-edged chances. One that hit the bar, and the other one that got scrambled off the line. But it was so utterly disappointing. I mean, I've got no arguments with Sadley's penalty with the decision that were given, because Hidofin virtually mugged him, mugged Sadley, and it was a definite penalty. Bad defending for the first goal. There just seemed to be a malaise of apathy, no pressing. It was very, very, very disappointing performance, and that sort of fed into the midweek cup defeat at Fleetwood. The performance was exactly the same, so something had to give, and unfortunately enough, it did this Saturday. But that's coming up.
Yeah, because there were a lot of discontent after the last couple of fixtures, wasn't there?
Discontent, yeah.
And we were talking just before we came live, and you said that there was a lack of plan, lack of structure, and that surprises me from a Steve Evans team. Normally, you get hard working, hard to beat, and you. It's been the same wherever he's gone. He's created teams that are very difficult to play against. So to hear that there's a lack of plan and cohesion and everything, is it the fact that you brought a lot of players in?
I think it is. Because the turnover staff has been playing staff has been incredible, and I think probably some players need a longer time span for him to get these ideas across to them.
Yeah.
I think some were underperforming. Some very talented players were underperforming, and I think that some hard work needed to be done on the training ground, and for it to start to bear fruit. And I think it started, but it's just the beginning.
We've got Sue in the chat. She said, "Evening, guys. What a scrappy win for us, but 3 points. Thank you very much. Bailey looks sharp and quick. 5 strikers. Feel very spoiled." And
do you like my shirt?
Yeah. That scrappy 1-0 win came after a convincing 4-1 win at home.
That was very impressive. Was very impressive. Mansfield, when they played at Rotherham in the BSM Trophy, they impressed me a lot. And even though they did lose and they were unlucky to lose, but they impressed me. And Lincoln, go to Sincilbank, you're not going to get an easy ride there.
No.
They're full of talent. They'll run at you. The crowd is incredible at Sincilbank. if there's ever a League One team whose supporters get behind the team, it's Lincoln City.
Yeah.
That was a very impressive result, that 4-1. And they've backed it up this weekend as well. So, yeah, well done, Lincoln.
Hey, Ian, you're in here. Sue said that you look very handsome. We've gone from a football show to a dating show. Go on, keep it.
Tell her to put her glasses on.
Lizzie will be after you, tell you. But no, convincing win. We have also got John in the chat. Birmingham fan, he said that only concern I'd have as a Miller is that they signed a lot of frees and a lot at the wrong end of their careers.
Fair point, that. But also, we have got we've got a couple of 25-year-olds that have got decent amount of experience in the league, like Powell, and like Malik Wilkes. So we have got, we've got a mixture. We haven't. Last season we had too many 35 pluses, without a doubt. We've got when we had Grant Hall, Sean Morrison, Lee Peltier. I mean, yeah, all right, we might still have one or two 30-somethings, but they're not at that end of the careers yet.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So I'm a little bit more encouraged that way.
You're a bit happier with the mix of age that you've got now?
Yes, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I am.
But touching on Birmingham, other than spending a ridiculous amount of money in League One, they've started very, very well, haven't they? And this game in particular was a weird one to look at as a Donny fan. Ethan Galbraith used to play for us, scored for Leyton Orient. Keshi Anderson used to play for us. Alfie May used to play for us, both scored for Birmingham. So all three goal scorers, ex-Rovers players.
You ought to frame that, yeah. That'll be a quiz question.
Yeah. I think last weekend, I'm sure somebody said 13 ex-Rovers players scored.
What, in one weekend?
Ridiculous amount. I might be wrong. 9 or 13. There was a lot of players that scored who used to play for Donny.
Jakes Claxon would wear out.
I know, yeah. Good job he's not come in yet. But John says that he was impressed by Orient in this game. Pressed us and tried to go toe-to-toe with us. Quality counts, mind. And I think that's what's going to happen a lot this season. Birmingham look absolutely stacked in terms of the quality that they've got, and adding Stansfield has just elevated them even more. And if they don't finish top 2 minimum, something's gone seriously wrong this season for them, I believe. But yeah, really.
Didn't one of the press people say, tongue in cheek, that if Stansfield doesn't score 50 goals, it's a waste of money?
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? I think Birmingham now, for me, are everybody's kind of cup final in League One, and they'll be wanting to go there and be the first team to kind of turn them over, but it's just going to be so difficult. Very, very.
They're at our place in September. I think it's the 21st of September. I think they're at New York. So, and I always like it when Birmingham come because they pack the away end out. They're brilliant set of fans. Yeah. So we'll be hoping for something other than a drubbing there.
Yeah. Why isn't this working? For some reason, it's not scrolling anywhere. We'll get there. 10th, right?
Technical difficulties.
Having a nightmare, aren't we? Okay, moving on to this weekend's fixtures. You got a win, mate. Talk us through this one.
We got the win, and may I say,
told you Lizzie wouldn't be happy with Sue.
Yeah. You can find some of it. Deservedly so, in my opinion. Rotherham started pretty well. They looked more solid defensively. Jamie McCart, who was sort of like the forgotten man under Richardson and Taylor, who got farmed out on loan to Barnsley last season, he's come back into the fold and he's done exceptionally well at left-sided centre-back since he's come in. And he had another decent game yesterday. Malik Wilkes has made a hell of a difference to us going forward. He's a player that can run at people, that can cross a ball, that is just dangerous whenever he gets the ball. And his winning goal was a thing of beauty. I agree with you completely, John. I don't think it was a penalty either.
It's a clumsy challenge, though, isn't
it? Having said that, he did hold his shirt all the way through the move from the penalty area. And yeah, all right, he made it look worse than it were. Personally, I didn't think it was a penalty, but I think the referee were trying to even things up, because when Huddersfield scored, it was just after Danny Ward got sent off. McCart, who was the recipient of Ward's elbow, arm, whatever it was off the field during doing concussion protocol. And he was still off the field when Koroma broke and squared it for, I think it was new guy. Was it Hodge?
Hodge.
Yeah, Hodge to score. So I don't know if the referee were trying to even the scores up a little bit that way. It's possible.
Yeah,
but
maybe,
no,
yeah.
it wasn't a penalty for me. But we got it and we scored it. And Johnson Clark Harris needed a goal, so everybody's happy. And he took the penalty really well. The winning goal, absolutely superb. Worked on our right side. He cut inside and just the postage stamp between Lee Nichols's hand and the post, straight in there. And there's nothing like a 90th minute winner. Nothing like it. Absolutely brilliant. There was a better performance, a more cohesive team performance. Wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot better and a lot to work on. We've got a week now before we play another incredibly tough game at Charlton next Saturday. But we've got a lot to work on. We might have Sean Raggett back by then. We might have Joe Rafferty back by then in the fold, because I think they're only days away from making a good comeback. So things looking a hell of a lot rosier than they did 48 hours ago.
Good stuff. Yeah. Like to hear it. Don't know why that's playing up. Not allowing me to scroll for some reason.
Yeah.
Any other fixtures from yesterday that kind of jump out? I think.
Come on, let's get Birmingham up again. Now,
Alfie May again.
We know that Birmingham are probably going to win League One by about 20 points.
Did this happen yesterday, Ian, before you carry on? When Wilkes scored, were you stood on your chair swinging your shirt above your head?
I'm a little bit too old for that. And if I took my shirt off, I'd probably get arrested.
Carry on, Birmingham
again. We know that they're going to win the league by about 20 points. I mean, I think most League One fans have sort of resigned themselves to that. But they're also getting the not luck, but the last minute winners.
Yeah.
The Alfie May is a cheat code, absolute cheat code. What? I don't care. I mean, I don't know how much they paid for Alfie May. It was certainly nowhere near what they paid for Stansfield. But he just scores goals, doesn't he? I mean, the last 2 and a bit seasons, he's been incredible goal scoring for. Wigan have not started the best. But it looked like they were well in the game for large parts of it. They're not winning every game 5, 6, 7, 8-0, are they? But they're getting over the line in virtually all the games.
Yeah,
and that's championship.
John said that they weren't at the best, but digging results out, and that's how you win leagues, isn't it?
God, I could cry. We paid $1 million for Nombe.
Because 750k for May is an absolute steal, isn't it?
He's got what every club are looking for, and that's just that poacher's instinct. It reminds me a lot of Adam Lafondra when he was at his peak with us, with Reading. He just knew where the onion bag were, and you can't teach that. You've just got it.
Yeah, definitely. There was a Barnsley fan dotted in the chat. Barnsley Red
What a
White
week
Army.
it's been.
Barcelona are back.
Hang on, I thought it was just like watching Brazil, not Barcelona.
Barcelona, I like it. But no, cracking result for them.
And cracking week for them, having to dump the Blades out the Carabao.
Yeah, definitely.
Great week for them. Yeah.
But yeah, double from Adam Phillips and Donovan Pines on 12 minutes. Saw off a pretty lackluster Crawley. They started well, Crawley. But seemed to have hit a wall very early on. We worried about Crawley this season, and I thought they were quieting us down pretty early on, but I think results like this kind of show the gap that there is between them and like your top end League One teams. But yeah, good result for Barnsley. Like you say, good week dumping Sheffield United out, and I think they've got Man United in third round.
What a draw for them! Superb draw for them.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll enjoy that. And is it Old Trafford?
It is at Old Trafford, and so there'll be 4,000 or 5,000 Barnsley fans and 60,000 Japanese tourists.
What more could you ask for? Is there any other League One games that you want to touch on from this weekend, mate, before we move on to Championship?
Yeah, probably the Coulton buster of the entire weekend. That's Bolton Wanderers 0, Exeter City 2. Who expected that?
80 ideal like you for this.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I thought that I had a look at this fixture and I thought that's a home banker.
Yeah.
That's efficiency, 6 shots, 2 on target, 2 goals. Wow.
It is indeed.
They must have defended for their lives. I mean, Bolton only got 3 on target out of 21 shots. So
yeah, you'd be disappointed as a Bolton fan looking at that, wouldn't you? That
you would.
You've had so much of the ball, so many sights at goal, but not enough on target. So 80 ID saying there's absolutely no need to go into the Championship.
Well, but we will, though.
Do need to. Barnsley back in the chat, getting your Reds. Easiest 3 points we'll get this season. 3-0 win at Crawley, could have won 8-0. Can't wait while the new lads get in the team. So
looking good for Barnsley. Yeah,
it is indeed. But yeah, Bolton second defeat on the bounce, I believe. I think they got beat 2-0 by Charlton.
Yeah, they did.
So yeah, that's dented their.
Very early days, though, isn't it, Matt? It's very early days. Yeah.
Why is this not working? Yeah, 2-0 against Charlton last weekend. So yeah, a couple of poor results for them that they'll want to try and rectify next Saturday.
Yeah, it's about time they started proving Ian Evatt right that they're the best team in the league. Oh, that was a few years ago, though.
Let me try and get the tape. There we go. We're working now.
Oh,
so the table
cooking on gas.
Yeah, we're loving it. Okay, so bottom 4, Leyton Orient yet to get off the mark, still without a draw or a win, 4 defeats in 4. Just above them, Cambridge on 1 point, Blackpool on 2, and Wigan on 3. But very
I'm surprised. I'm surprised at the poor start that Blackpool have made.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Bolton down to 18th, which is not a good look for them. The win yesterday has jumped you up to 17th. Ian, dizzy heights of 17th.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad. I like being 17th. It's good.
Yeah, there's a long way to go, isn't there? Crawley, 2 defeats on the bounce have dropped them to mid-table after winning 2 on the bounce to start their season. But at the top, you've got Stockport, Wrexham, both promoted from League 2 this season, both having fantastic starts to their League 1 campaign. Birmingham, hot on their tails on 10 points as well, with Lincoln Huddersfield and Charlton just behind on 9 points. So, yeah, some good early pace setters in League One, and I think it's going to be an interesting league to keep an eye on this season.
It's a very strong league, a very strong division, League One this season.
It is indeed. Okay, Jake's not made it in, so I don't think he'll be coming in. So we will tackle the Championship ourselves. Anybody in the chat, if you want to come forward, if you're a Championship fan, come forward with your teams. Let us know how you did, or tell us to avoid your team if you want to. Last weekend, was there any games that jumped out to you from the bank holiday weekend, Ian?
To be honest, I'm very, very surprised at the poor start that Luton have made after being relegated from the Premier League. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a smash and grab there at Preston. But they backed that defeat up with another defeat to QPR, I think, on Friday night. And they've lost Ogbenny. I think they've lost. Oh, who else was it? Ex-England, Ross Barkley. They've lost him, and they just don't look. They don't look as though, I don't know, very early days again. Don't look like Rob Edwards have got the Midas touch that he did have.
No. John's saying that he had Luton in the top 2 mix, but he'll be honest, doesn't see the manager lasting if this continues for another 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Oh.
So really, it's a bit of a surprise how they've started the season.
Yeah, really poor start to the season. We'll jump onto this weekend. Like I say, backed it up with a 2-0 defeat to QPR after going 1-0 up. Didn't even score in that one as well, did they? It was an own goal to start that one off, but then
cracking winner though by that Michael Frey.
Yeah, 2 goals in 3 minutes turned it on its head, didn't it?
Yeah.
But
again, a very even game.
Yeah. They're just on the wrong end of the scorelines at the minute, aren't they, by the looks of it?
Yeah.
John said Oxford's start has been great. So
it has.
Probably a good place to go next. Where are they? Oxford.
Yeah, there you go.
Beating Preston 3-1 this weekend. Go for it, Ian.
I think Oxford surprised a lot of people. That Mark Harris has scored in every league game, I think, so far. And he got quite a lot of goals in League One last season. Kasam's a funny place to go, 3-sided. I don't know what the atmosphere is like. I've never been to that ground, to be honest with you. But you've got to. I mean, they sneaked into League One, really, into the Championship, really, by only just making the playoffs and then winning them.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people probably underestimating them this time round. I think that will change because it does. It takes time. Sometimes you get promoted teams that have a flying start and then they get found out.
Yeah.
But points on the board at this stage of the season is absolutely vital. So well played, Oxford. Yeah,
like you say, it could be a case of kind of teams in the Championship not really knowing too much about Oxford, not expecting them to be one of the teams to come up. So, just, like I say, it just takes a couple of months for teams to really get the stats together and their information together about the club and how it performs, how it plays, how it's set up tactically, and then at some point they will get found out. Yeah. Lovely stuff. Just seeing we've got Lewis, Sunderland fan. Fratton Park tends to be a tough place for us to go, but dealt with Pompey quite comfortably. Exciting times with our youthful squad. 2 excellent own goals too.
That was an impressive scoreline. That. Yeah, impressive by Sunderland. I mean, any team that loses a player with the ability of Jack Clark, you'd expect to suffer.
Yeah.
But no, definitely not. I mean, Alan Brown, the sign from Preston, experienced player, really good acquisition for Sunderland. And, they put Pompey to the sword fairly comfortably. And I think Pompey now, after 3 draws, are probably starting to work out how difficult the championship's going to be for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I mean, 3 creditable draws in their opening 3 games, but I don't know. I mean, Mourinho's got quite a lot of work on there.
Yeah. But like Lewis said, Fratton Park can be quite a tough place to go. For a lot of clubs. Was it the Swanson goal where Pompey tried to clear it and it's just whacked him and got in?
Yeah, he hit it against his own player and it went in. Yeah.
Absolute calamity. But no, fantastic start for Sunderland. And a fantastic start for Leeds as well.
Without a
starting
doubt.
to turn it around, aren't they?
Quality side. I mean, they beat Sheffield Wednesday fairly comfortably, and they've backed that up with another comfortable win against underwhelming Hull side.
Yeah.
They're going to be there or thereabouts, Leeds. They've got too much quality not to be.
Yeah, there were a couple of games at the start of the season, wasn't there, where it wasn't looking like everything was kind of clicking into place. But it seems like they've started to settle down a little bit and kick on now.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, and if Leeds get on a roll, they're going to take some stopping.
Yeah.
They've got the fan base. They've got the quality squad. They've got the manager that's done it before. It's going to be like a little bit like a juggernaut. You know, it's going to take some stopping, derailing.
Yeah. ATID is not looking forward to Sunderland up next for us. He's grateful for the international break.
Let's get on to Plymouth as well. Or should I say Wayne Rooney's Plymouth Argyle?
ATID did put a comment. Let me just find it. Okay, so although credit where it's due, holding 12 men QPR to a 1-1 with 9 men away from home needs praise. Yesterday was the ultimate El Spastico. 2 poor teams making an entertaining fixture, but still lost. Stoke. They're a weird one, Stoke. I can't quite get them. Sometimes
they're very inconsistent. I mean, look at the stats. Dead level. Yeah.
If you ever seen two teams
play well, Did Victor Johansson play well, ATID? You know, our ex-keeper who were in goal for Stoke. Just want to keep an eye on his progress. As for Argyle, to me, they dropped a massive clanger in the managerial appointment. He was a wonderful, wonderful footballer, but he's no manager in a million years. I'm sorry. I just don't rate him as a manager whatsoever. I mean, Birmingham brought him in because of the brand. They soon regretted that. And I think Argyle's top brass are going to regret appointing Rooney, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that one.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good for Argyle, I must admit. It was the home form that kept them up last season. They were exceptionally good at home park. But I don't know. I mean, welcome to champion, or welcome to what I had to experience last season. I mean, they did really well to hold on to Morgan Whittaker. And I think Morgan Whittaker and probably Ryan Hardy probably will get a few goals. But it's at the back, I think, that they're going to struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, Johansson is a cheating William Anker.
Go on, explain.
Yeah, I need that one explaining as well. I'd say,
yeah.
That's sideswiped me, that one. I don't quite know what you meaning by that.
I mean, I can accept that from an outfield player, but for a keeper.
He said it's not Rooney's fault. Our board are broke. We have no quality anywhere on the pitch.
Enough.
Yeah, it's always difficult, isn't it? I just do think Rooney were the wrong appointment, and it's for a name more than anything.
Yeah.
There you go. I thought it might have been a.
I didn't mean to. I meant that what I meant to say is explain why, not explain the actual terminology.
Because of time wasting Muppet, apparently.
Oh, that's my boy. We own that. We owned his skill at that. You know, in the League One promotion season, he's very, very good at that.
What the hell? I think we should cover Sheffield Wednesday. Jake and Lee. Jake and Lee are not here. Poor, isn't it, from them yesterday?
To be honest, it looks like. I mean, I've seen one or two highlights and extended highlights, and it looked like they defended fairly well first half. But in the second half, it went to pieces. Big style, joke defending, decent finishing, and one-way traffic. After the opening day win, when everybody was sort of like upbeat and encouraged, it's all gone a bit Pete Tong, hasn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's too early to say will they struggle or not. It's definitely too early to criticise Danny Röhl at all. They've got some new guys coming into the team that need bedding in, that need game time, and need to know what Röhl's tactics are. It might get worse before it gets better, but I'm quite convinced it will get better. But you know, they might have to suffer a few more defeats first.
John said that he's not convinced that the manager's got it right. He seemed to kind of move away from the style that was so successful with Wednesday last season. Do you think that's possibly because he's just brought more of his own players in?
Yeah. But I was going to say, 4 games in, there is absolutely no need for any fans at any of the 72 to start pressing the panic button yet.
Yeah. There's a long way to go and a lot of football to be played, isn't there?
Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Any other championship games that you want to touch on? I think probably focus a bit more on the championship.
The start that Borough have made is pretty impressive.
Go for it.
Good start. Going to the Cardiff City Stadium is not easy. They've just come off that South Wales derby, which were a feisty 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
So they'd have been up for it, but Borough, clinical, absolutely clinical. Both goals were a bit. I don't know. If I were a Cardiff fan, I wouldn't be happy about them. But Borough,
they're preventable, weren't they?
Yeah, strong side, strong squad, decent manager, good chairman. They could go close. They could go close this season.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
they look really good when they played us in pre-season. They moved the ball around really well, didn't they?
They did going forward. I mean, they did look a bit iffy at the back, but having said that, pre-season, how can you judge? I mean, you're not going in for challenges 100% like you would do in a league game. But going forward, they passed the ball well and they look pretty decent. And they've borne that out with the start they've made.
Yeah, definitely. But I think we'll have more of a focus on the championship when Lee or Jake are in next week, potentially.
We do it. I was going to say, because there's only next weekend. There's only 3 League One games, and these are full
internationals, isn't it?
Yeah, so it might be a week after.
Yeah, we will have more.
We can touch on the League Two games from this weekend, from next weekend, the weekend after. Are you following all?
We'll work it out. We'll do something. Looking at the table before we round it off, there's not one team that hasn't gained any points yet. Cardiff, Luton both on 1 point, Plymouth on 2, with 2 draws from the opening 4 games. Preston, Sheffield Wednesday just above them, with Hull City on 3 points as well. Portsmouth on 3 points. Extremely tight early on. Sheffield United, decent start. I think somebody has said about Sheffield United. Yeah, John. Sheffield United started well, probably much to the surprise of their own fans. look like they'll be there or thereabouts. So I think with a couple more
Well, I think
results,
with the
they'll be-
Blades, I think in the latter end of the transfer window, they've recruited well.
Yeah.
In the first couple of months of the transfer window, it were looking a bit dodgy for them, but I think they've plugged some holes there. And Wilder's done it before. Yeah, they'll be up there. They'll be there or thereabouts.
I believe Sunderland are the only 100% record team in the EFL at the minute.
Yeah, we says something with 4 games gone. They're the only team to have won all 4.
Yeah, so fantastic start for Sunderland.
What a start!
Yeah, West Brom decent as well. Watford, Leeds, Blackburn, and Burnley. I wonder if Blackburn will be able to maintain that with Schmodix leaving. We will. Only time will tell.
Bloody good start for them, though.
Yeah, very good start.
And West Brom are in exactly the position that I tipped them to be in the predictions. They're not letting me down.
No, they're not. So yeah, that leads us to the Fantasy EFL. Let's get the league up. So if you are new to this and you want to get involved, search for the 72 Review League. Our man Ian is the chairman of this league. There's 22 people in it at the minute. The good thing about this is whenever we miss an episode or a week like we did last week, it's all good. You can still continue playing. Whereas last season we were doing predictions and we'd miss weeks and stuff. Whereas this, it's all free on your palm. It's nice and easy, isn't it? So it's not looking very good for me. I mean, 18th out of the 22.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, could be worse. But as we go up the table, some scores are absolutely ridiculous. Ian, you're smack bang mid-table, comfortable. Yeah. But
Adam Gittins, he's absolutely ripping him a new one, isn't he? It's almost as though he knows what he's talking about.
And I believe he's 7th in the world at the minute.
That's impressive. That's very impressive.
Yeah. So well done, Adam. You've currently got bragging rights. I think Lee mentioned a meal somewhere, so I don't know if Lee's taking you out or if it's Ian or myself, but we'll work it out towards the end of the season.
He should really be Lee because he's second, isn't he?
Yeah, it'd be a nice date night, that, I think. But no, if you have got a fantasy EFL team, search for the 72 Review League, get yourselves involved in that, and then put yourself up against everybody who's in the community.
Unless you've scored over 287 points, then you don't need to bother.
Yeah, that's looking decent.
Yeah.
And that takes us to the end of episode 74. We've managed it with the two of us once again, mate.
Yeah, we knew we'd cope, didn't we?
Well, I weren't sure with my voice today, but it's held out for just over an hour.
You're a professional, Dan. You're all right. Don't worry.
I try my best. That's all I can do. Any final words, mate, before we round it off?
Another enjoyable Sunday therapy session. Made better for me because my team won at long last. And yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been great. And thank you, everybody who contributed.
Yeah, we appreciate the amount of communication in the chat. It does drive the conversation throughout the hour on a Sunday. We enjoy doing it. There's no two ways about it. It's
that's why we do it. We don't do it for anything.
If there was only one person watching, like Ian said, it's a nice therapy session. It's been a good one this week because Rotherham won. It was relatively easy. It's not often that you get a happy weekend in football in South Yorkshire.
So not at this end.
No, so we've enjoyed it. We hope all you have enjoyed it as well. I think at one point there was about 34 people in, so which is decent numbers. So yeah, share it, like it, get it out there, get as many people in the community as possible to come along and talk about their club, because the more people we've got from different clubs talking, the more we get to know about the clubs as well. and the more information and the more chat we can have. And that's what this show is all about, just trying to build it up, and everybody having a decent safe space to have a bit of a rant about their weekend EFL action. So I just want to wish you all a fantastic week. If you've got an international break next week, enjoy the rest. If not, we will be back next Sunday at 6:30 to cover the bit of the EFL action that is available. Before we finish, there is a poll which I'm going to end. I don't know if I can't see the poll. I will find the poll.
Oh, come on. I want to know where I'm going now.
Here we go. So you're going to Doncaster. Everybody's votes. 27 votes. Doncaster Gillingham got 66%. Notts County Accrington got 22%. Bradford Carlisle got 11%. So Donny Gillingham, mate.
Eco power it is.
It's a decent game next week.
You could have to give me your season ticket now.
Yeah, it's a game that I'm missing, aren't I? So we will we'll get that sorted. I'll have my ticket in and get you one potentially. Depends how nice you are to me throughout the week. Lovely stuff. Right. If you've enjoyed this episode 74 of the 72 review, stick a big thumbs up on it for us, please. Comments in the section down below if you're watching it throughout the week, and I will try and get back in touch with you. Subscribe to myself or Ian or any of the other lads that are in the description down below. Have a fantastic week. Take care of yourselves and each other. All that's left for me to say is thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.